Hello everyone. I'm moving along here on showing how to make a blog off a Divi on WordPress. Divi is a theme that is sold by Elegant Themes, and the reason why I like to use Divi so much is it has a thing called um, a WordPress has two libraries. One is for image library and putting images into, and then another library is for saving whole sections, a whole page, uh, parts of a page, modules, sections, and all kinds of things. I have already made a, um, a template, a blog template for a website, and now I'm going to actually build a blog here so you can watch me do it. I've already made a website, or not a website, but I've already made a video on blog preparation and how to get the right correction on writing and cropping your images correctly, and then putting together all your SEO beforehand. So all you got to do is drop and drag. Okay? So one of the things I'm going to show you is we already have, this is a new website. I've been building this for a scientist. His name is Alan, and he's a physicist. And he is from China, and he lives in the United States. And one of the interesting things that I learned for him is that we can translate. We've got a translator on his website that will translate any language that you want to use. We're Americans, so we're using English, but if I wanted to go over here and do it in Chinese, if I press the Chinese button right there, look at that. Isn't that amazing? So he doesn't really have to write out stuff in Chinese or any other language in the world. It will then process it and make it. So that one was for Spanish. Anyways, there you have it. I'm going to go back to English now. So that's not only on his blog page, but that's also on every page in his website. So first thing I'm going to show you that I did is I'm going to go over here, and a lot of the tools for WordPress and Divi are in the left-hand column here. One of the things I want to show you is the Divi Library. So if you go over here to Divi, and then it has a number of things from theme customizer to theme builder to theme options. I will probably be making a video on each one of these areas. But since I'm doing a blog, I'm going to show you really quickly. I'm going to go into the Divi Library. Give it a second to catch up. And this is the Divi Library of things that I have saved. From the bottom here is what we decided to build a theme, not only the theme, but the layout. And then there are different pieces. Some are sections, and some are whole page layouts. And as you can see here, I have a blog template already made, but it's not in a category, so we can't find it. So what I'm going to do is I can either go to edit, and this is where you can go to edit a whole page or make a section of a page, or I can tell it right here. We want to give it a blog template right there. I changed it right there. I can also do a whole page layout if I want to, but here it is. I'm going to tell it to update it, and now you can see that it's a blog template. There's a lot of things in here that are sections. These guys, if I wanted to, I could go here and make it a whole page layout. And I can keep going along and do it like that for each one of these. That's kind of holding off. So these are a whole page layout. And add it right here. Okay, so that's where that's at. And this is a blog template, okay? So this is where it resides when I tell you you're going to go after a blog template. Now I'm going to show you how to integrate that so you don't have to build a whole blog from scratch every time. All you have to do is use the modules to drop and drag images and photographs, PDFs, and all your text. Okay? So I'm going to sweep out of here. Actually, I can just stay right here. And now I can go to post. Now there's two places that it makes pages, WordPress does. One is called pages. Obviously, that is for building pages for a website. But if you're going to do a blog, they're called posts, okay? So they're located right here. So we're going to open up all posts that are in his website. These are the three that he's got done. This one is partially done, but not completely. One thing that I recommend that you do is if you're not going to publish it right away and you wanted to get a head start on a blog post, you can save it, but don't publish it. Also, what is really cool is you can actually get the whole blog post done and give it a date and time you want it to publish. And you could, let's say you're going on vacation and you're going to go away for a couple weeks and you wanted to do a couple of blog posts, you could do them all in one day and then have them publish on different days. And then it will send out to all kinds of other interesting things too. I'll talk about that. So I'm going to go right here. These are three that we've got, so we're going to add a new one right here. So we're going in. When you first press it, you've got to give it a couple of minutes. There's a thing spinning up at the top there, and that's telling you that it's coming in. And then you'll see it start blinking. That means then you can now add the title to it. And I'm going to bring this over. In a previous video, I showed you how to lay out the whole blog, including taking it over to Grammarly and getting all your corrections on spelling and grammar. I have the pro version of Grammarly, so it helps me with some of the wording, but they also have a free version, which does a lot of the misspell and all kinds of other things that will help you for free. I started out with the free version until I got a hang of it, and it really does work great. I need all the help I can get, so now I have a pro version. Alan actually sent me this. I asked people to send me over their blog in a WordPress document, not a WordPress, but a Word document. And then I kind of lay out a lot of things. One thing that I had said on the other video is you don't want to make your paragraphs so large, because you got to remember a lot of people read blogs and blog posts and everything off a cellular device or a device that is small. So you want to break these things up into smaller sentences. Take paragraphs and make them into smaller sentences. And as you can see, that's what I did. And I also laid out how I want my different header tags, H1 tags, H2 tags, H3 tags. As I begin to build this, I will show you. Then when I get down here, I've got different places I've got for hyperlinks, because you want to have an outbound link and an inbound link. These are really huge for SEO, search engine optimization, for Google. Bing and Yahoo work the same way. This is how they can understand what people are looking for and searching for. So you got to learn how to do search engine optimization and understand the language a little bit. Once you do, your blog posts and your website pages will go a lot further and find people a lot better. So it's really worth learning how to do. As I build websites for people, I actually do some real advanced SEO work on it. But I'm setting this up so I can teach people how to do SEO for their blogs. And it's very simple, but it really helps your thing go. So anyway, this is a Word document that has everything pretty much laid out. So I would recommend that you listen to my other video on blog layout. Okay, do that one first. Now, so we're set here. We can see that it's ready for a new post, and I'm going to go take the title of the website or the blog post here is "What is the Book of Nature?" So I'm going to save this guy, and I'm going to bring it right here. And whoop, it's saved everything from a previous thing. So I'm going to go back here, get this guy again, and put it right here, just the title. What is the Book of Nature? Okay? So the very next thing you want to do is I'm going to tell it to use the Divi Builder. The Divi Builder is something, in this case, for the blog, it's all pre-made. I've already built a blog that's got a lot of stuff, so you don't have to build it from scratch. But you do this if you want to do other things on other pages and stuff like that. And this is where modules, sections, and whole pages reside. So the very first thing is you put the title in right here, and then click Use the Divi Builder. Okay? Now, this is where she's sitting. And up at the top is got Rank Math SEO, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that fairly soon. But the very first thing I do after I do what is the Book of Nature, make sure I got that in here, and the focus keyword is going to be that same thing. You want to use 4 to 5 words in there, and this guy has got the 5 words. So I'm going to put focus keyword, and I'm going to tell it this. This is very important that you got your focus keyword and what is a Book of Nature. Okay? The other thing then is you want to figure out what your category is right over here. And the Book of Nature, and I'm going to show you how to make another category here too. We may not use it, but these are the different categories that Alan has figured out that he wants to use right now. But if I need to add a new one, and when you add it here, you've got to go back to the blog module and tell it to use that one too. So I'm going to go right here, and I'm just going to say Book of Nature. Okay, so I'm going to add the new category here and hit it right there, and you can see that it made the Book of Nature right there. And then it will want to ask you, is this your main category that you want to set it up? I would put it into 2 categories. And physics, you could do it under religion, science, scientists. So I'm going to, Book of Nature has to do with God. So you could do science and God. So I wouldn't go more than 3. Usually 2 is perfect. Now, if I didn't want to publish this thing, it'll publish it right here. Also, this is a place where you go to edit it and tell it when you want it to publish. If you don't go in here to publish immediately, it will then, when you hit publish, it will immediately publish it. Or you can save it in a draft and come back to it later. Let's say you got half of it done. You can come back to it if you saved it. So I'm going to tell it to save it because there's nothing else in there. And then it will tell me that the status of this is now in draft. Visibility, we're going to tell it to be public. Or you can close it off from anybody else seeing it. Or you can go back in here and it gives you a calendar on when to publish it. Very cool. Might want to experiment with it and play with it on your own website. Do a test. I do tell people to practice on a test page on their website or a test blog. Make sure that you dump it after you're done. But it's a good place to play with it. Okay? As you can see here, it made the focus keyword, what is the Book of Nature now? So nothing else is done on the SEO. but we will get to that. Now, the very first thing that you want to get to, or it's up to you how you want to do this. To me, I like to go and fill out all the information that I took care of in the blog preparation. And I got all the SEO all fixed up and ready to go on this baby. So I can go and add it right here. So if I look right here, and this is where you do the SEO. It's in here in the edit snippet. Okay. So if I go in here, and now this is going to give me my title, my permalink. The permalink is already set because it picked it up from the focus keyword. And then the description. So if I can do this at the same time, this is the title that I already worked out. So I'm going to copy this guy right here. And I'm going to take it and highlight this guy and paste it. There it goes. It did it a couple times. My computer's running slow tonight, so I'm going to. Oh, sometimes my computer runs slow after I have set it up to run. So what I'm going to do is go back to that blog in here to all the posts were, and it's kind of good that it happened. So you can see this. Now you can see the blog post come up, and it's showing you that it's in a draft mode right here. Okay. So if I go back in here and hit edit, now it's going to bring it in, and it takes a second for everything to get caught up. Sometimes if I'm moving too quickly with it, the computer gets froze up. And so I'm kind of glad that happened so you could see it, what happened when it got all froze up. So if I want to go back to the snippet right here, and then I want to go, where's my paper? Here it is. So I'm going to save this part, and then the title, copy and paste it. Okay, and it says, what is the book of nature, science and life? In the title of the blog always goes in the first part, and then I use a pipe to separate it, and then you should always use the second thing is the title of your website itself. Alan's title of his website, if you can see right up here, is Science and Life, and then that's here. And then you can get a little creative here. Sometimes on some of his blog posts I put his name, Alan Tai, or you could put physicist or all kinds of different things. You see, Google reads the title, and that's why you got to have the title in here. But it reads the title, but it also reads the meta description and everything on there. So if people are trying to type in something, so you got to be creative in your description too, because after all, you're trying to get as many people to find you as possible, not only on your web page, but your blog also. So if they type in specific words or categories and things like that. So if I go back to this, I already have a meta description. They don't say meta right here, but that's what it is, the meta description. And that's this guy here. Then there's something called an excerpt that's going to follow it that actually Google or the browsers don't really follow. That they're following is the title and the meta description. So I'm going to copy this part I have right here because sometimes when you're building the website, you feel under pressure to get all this stuff typed out. But if you're just doing it on a Word document, you can relax and put a lot of thought into everything. So the description then is going to go here. And you can see it all come out right here, everything that I had typed out. Now, The other thing that you've got to be very careful of is that the rank SEO is giving you a score, a grade, and you want to be in the green area whenever possible. So that gives you how many you can do, up to 60 characters for your title, and that's right in here. If you go above 60, it's going to go into the red. I don't really worry about the permalink a lot because the permalink is what they call the slug, and that's this guy right here. You'll have the website and then a backslash, and that's what your permalink is. That's your address to find this. So we're under that, so you can actually go much smaller with the permalink. But as you can see here, the description is too high. It says it's not supposed to go above 160, and I haven't. It's 158, but for some reason. So what I'm going to do is take away and see when it goes green. I think it's 140. So if I back off, it just went. So I'm going to bring some of these back, and it's at 147. I guess it's not an exact science. So what I got to do is kind of eliminate a few words here, because this is what this is going to find. And it says article by physicist and book author. I didn't put Alan's name here because it's right here. So you only have to have certain things in this guy one time for the search engine to find it. So so what I'm going to do is take this out of there and make capital religious and philosophical concept looking at nature, written in the language of mathematics. Still too high. Religious in. Sometimes you can get caught up to it here. And there it goes. And this is probably enough, even though it doesn't sound absolutely perfect. This is enough perfect for Google. So, what is the Book of Nature? Article by physicist and book author. Religious and philosophical concept looking at written languages of mathematics. That's good enough. And see, I could actually put a period right there. So there it is. And it went green all the way. So there you have that. So actually the SEO is already done for this page. Now, something that I've got all worked out already too is, where are the pages? Okay, and I'm going to go back here to find and this is something I do. For each person that I work with, I have different folders that contain different things, from website pages to graphics. And when I built his logo, this was where it all was stored at. And then I got a lot of images that I found over time for photo stock. So I try to keep everything together. I've got a folder for blog, and you can see he's got 3 here, and then what is the Book of Nature? And I had gotten all the text together, but now I also went in and got the images ready. And if you go to blog preparation, the other video I made, I show you how to pick out an image or your best image for your website. It's called a featured image. And you're going to find when you get back over here, the featured image goes right here, because this is the really big image that goes all across the top of your blog posts. Okay, so I show you how to crop that correctly with the right DPI, and then you can then use a different type of a setup, a little bit different, for the interior of your blog post itself. So I've got 2 images that I have already figured out for. So then I can go in here and it says put it into the Now this is the WordPress library, and I can actually highlight both of these two guys and then stick it right into the library. And see how it's popping the images right up? Here's all other images in his media library. Now, one thing I want to make sure that I do is, I'm going to go back to the page. Where did the page go? Now I can just open it again right there. So I want to go back, take the title of the name, pull this out of the way. And this is very important on a blog, is highlight this image right here, and it's going to bring it up right here. And it's got alternative text. I just call it alt text. And you put the name of the title of your blog post right in there. What is the book of nature? Okay? And then click it up in here, and you'll see that thing spin, and it saved it. The other one that I've got a second image that's going to go on that blog, and I'm going to do the same thing again. You also can see how big the image is. This one is a 72 dpi. I want to do this first and then tell it to save it. But I'm going to go back. You can see it's 504 by 240. But if I go back to the one that's a featured image, it's actually bigger. It's 864 by 480. This is the largest you should ever make anything to go into your website. If your images are too big and they go beyond 96 dpi, it will slow your website down. Some people put whole size images without shrinking them down, and it really slows their website down. It gets slower and slower and slower, and eventually nobody wants to get on your website anymore. I installed a plugin in addition to the hosting company who got SiteGround actually smushes or shrinks down images automatically. So this is a big deal. This really helps. So now, since I got these two in here, as you can see, it says set featured image. If I pick this one, that's going to set it, but we don't want to do that here. So we're going to tell it this is the featured image that I had already worked out, and it's this size. So I'm going to tell it set featured image. Now you can see featured images shows up right here. But in addition to that, if I press save draft or publish, it will go across the top of the whole page. But before I do that, I want to bring in the template that I have made from Divi. And the way you do that is you go right here to load. If you see, there's three words here. One is a save to library, and this is where you go to save a whole page to the library or sections, and I will make another video on that all by itself. Load a layout or clear a layout. We're going to actually go to load a layout. Hit that button right there. Let it catch up. It's circling. This is where you also find whole layout packs from Elegant Themes, or essentially Divi. Divi is the theme that we use on this, and Elegant Themes is the company that it's sold by. And they have 193 whole layout packs where you can take anywhere from 5 pages up to 10 pages that are kind of pre-built. And I like to use that. I used to build pages and everything from scratch, and it took a lot of work. Now you can get a real cutting-edge design and then put your own information into it. So we're not going to touch this. This is not where we're going to go. We're going to go to your saved layouts right there. Okay? And then you can see some stuff show up here, but I'm going to press blog template. I could do a whole page layout because remember, we had told it we wanted it in 2 places, blog template and whole page layout. But to shrink that down, but here it is, blog template. So all you got to do is click that baby and then give it about 20 seconds. And here it is. This is the templates. It's all made. Now, if I wanted to go and take a look at this guy, I want to save it in the draft. And it's going to come up here, and then I'm going to show you. It's going to have a lot of the other blog that I had made previously, but we like to leave it like that so you know where to put all your information. So then after that has circled and you've given it a chance to catch up, then we want to go over here and go to preview so we can look at it and view it. And here it comes in. Okay, remember that featured image? The other thing is, because I logged in under my name, it says it was written by me, but I'm going to show you very quickly on how to change that, and this is going to go back to Ellen. And this goes to a previous blog post, but I'm just showing you this. So it says, scientists believe in God. This is going to be our H1 tag. And as you can see here, I use an end cap, but we're going to be changing all of this. What it's keeping is this bottom section right here. That's a part of that. So now I'm going to go back here. I'm actually going to close this off. And one of the things I like to do is we don't want to have comments by people. So it says allow comments. We're going to turn that off right now and turn off link backs. So that's gone. So there was a thing at the bottom of the page, and let me show you that. I'll turn this back on, allow comments, and I'll show you what that looked like. If I go back in here and show you, at the very bottom, it says submit a comment. We don't, a lot of times, if we want to have comments and back and forth with people, we use social media to do that, be it Facebook, Twitter, and that's where you can have some major discussions. In my opinion, it's better not to have those discussions here in your blog post itself. Okay, so I'm going to close out of that, go down here, and unclick that baby. And then go in here and say to draft, and it's bringing it back up. And now we can go, give it a second. It's spinning right up here. It's spinning. That's where you watch it. And when it's done spinning is when you can actually move forward. And it has a little bit of a whiteout, and that tells you, and then when the whiteout's gone, then you can do it. So now I'm going to go back to preview, and we're going to go down, and you can see that comment box is gone. So that's where that's located. Okay? So now we're going to move forward, and we have our title right here. So we want to change that. That's the first thing we want to change. So we want to go here, copy the title, and I'm going to go in here, open this baby up. I have a strange thing where I have to open up a secondary window, but a lot of times people won't have to do that on their computer. So I'm going to click in here. This is where you go to take a look at it. Let me go back to that again real quick. You're going to see that there are two things in here. This is for the whole section. This is for a row. The green is row, the blue is a section, and the modules are in the dark gray. Okay? So if I want to duplicate the thing that I already made, you hit this button right here and see it made a duplication of that module. Okay, I don't want both of those in there. And if I wanted a duplicate of this row, then I could hit this part and see it made a duplicate of the row. We don't want that. And if we wanted a duplicate of the section, you hit this and it made a second one. So you're going to find that this is unbelievably helpful to make different things. You can also duplicate something and move it to a different place. So let's say I want the title right here. We're making a second title. And if it's in a full width section, I can actually go drag this sucker down to here. Isn't that something? You can maneuver different things to different places. I'm going to have another video on how to use Divi the best way using all the modules, sections, and rows. Okay, so now we want to go back in here and change the title of this. Okay, and it's coming up right here. Scientists believe in God. I had copied that other thing earlier. Sometimes if I go on to the very end of it and click on it, it brought in the right title. So now all I got to do is eliminate that. Now what's important here, it says what is a book of nature. This is going to be our H1 tag, and I made this in Helvetica 32 point, and I gave it its heading 1. It's HR tag. It's a heading 1 tag. And I also told it there's all kinds of tools on how to format and do all kinds of things. So if I went here and I wanted it to the far left, it moved it like that. Or if I wanted it to the far right, it brought it way over there. But since this is a title, I'm putting it right in the middle. And then this is if I wanted, I make it a 32 point, but I could actually make it a 14 point. And see what it did? It shrunk it all the way down there. I can change the color right here into black. Say it made it black. I can put an underline underneath it. If I highlight it, I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. I'm going to go back to 32. And I can put an underline under it. Oh, got to highlight it and underline it like that. Okay? So there's a lot of things that you can do. There's other tools up in here. This is your hyperlinking, and I'm going to show you how to get to that. But I don't want an underline on it, so I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to make it red. Just so happens that to keep things separate, I make a heading either in red or blue. Okay, and this is our H1 tag. So now I want to copy this guy right here, and I want to go down here at the very bottom. The old title is down here. So we're going to change this guy right here. And what is the book of nature? This information down at the bottom, the administration label, is for information for you on the back end, so you know what you're looking at. What I'm teaching you right here is how to build pages using the back end, but they have a different thing called a page builder, and you can actually view what you're building at the same time. I'm kind of old school, and I started building stuff this way, so I don't build that way, but some of you that are listening to this might like to build something off of that, and I can send you a link to Divi because they've made a lot of videos on how to use their front end designer. A lot of people like that, but I've been working with Divi for a long time. So this is their thing right here. So if I save and exit, and you can see right here, what is the book of nature, H1 tag. Here's the old one. I'm going to take this guy out of there, and now it's just this one. So if I go here and hit Save Draft, and let it catch up again, remember what I said? It's spinning up here and here. So we got to give it that. It takes anywhere from 10 to maybe 30 seconds. Then it whites out, and then it's good to go. Now we can hit the preview button. And there it is. It's got the book of nature. And it's all lined up in the right position and spot. When I made the template, I had to maneuver and have everything set up. But I took care of that. So I'm going to close out of here now. Now we can move on with the rest of the article. And I want to build a second one right here. And now I can start bringing over some of the stuff that we had laid out. So in his case, in Alan's case here, I'm going to use about half of the blog post and then bring in another image. So I think I'm going to break it off right here, give some room on the Word document, and then take all this stuff from here all the way up to here. And then copy this. And then I'm going to go bring it in here. Okay, and here, oh, wrong one. And this is going to be our first paragraph. Okay, so this is how it's all laid out from originally. Okay, so what I want to do here is I don't want to eliminate this stuff right here because that's going to be going on the other blog. So what I want to do is come from here all the way up and then hit paste. And as you can see, it's all brought back in here, but it's a little bit too big of, it's telling it when Divi takes over and it gives you an automatic open sans at 14-point paragraph. We don't want that though. We're going to change this from right here all the way to here, and we're going to tell it to make it Helvetica. Nope, Helvetica. 16-point. Remember this. You want to make all your blogs and your pages for the regular paragraph style at 16-point. Okay? And then I tell it I want to make it black. So here it is. So that's where it is right now. Actually, this is where the H2 tag resides, and we're going to change that in a minute. And then your inbound link, you do not have to change ever. You can just leave this. This is pointing to your main blog page. That will work as your inbound link. So that's going to be all satisfied as far as Google is concerned. Now we want to change that tag, and we want to go back to what is the Book of Nature. And then I'm going to go down here and let's see if we can do it here. 5, put it here. Nope, it didn't do it. So what I'm going to do, and that's kind of good, I'm going to dump that, bring this up 1 point, and now I'm going to highlight this guy, Book of Nature, and I usually make that about a 20. It's got to be Helvetica and 20-point because it's a title tag. Okay, and then under paragraph, we're going to make this a H2 tag. And we're going to make it red so people know that that's the end of the article. And then put it in the middle. So, and there it is, but we want to make that bold. Thought I did bold and italicize. There we go. And now there it is. We've satisfied the H2 tag. I gave it 2 spaces instead of 1. So they know that it is. And then there's a line in here. This thing can make lines right here, and that's what this little tool is. But we want to leave that there because it's there. So, but this is not, okay, so I'm going to hit save and exit. And want to make sure that we made this, I'm going to actually make it with 2 stars, right here. Okay, so then we can dump this guy and get it out of the way. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to save draft. And remember what we said, we got to let it catch up, let the thing circle. What's happening is, and why it takes a second, and you don't always have to hit this, you can actually just go over here and just preview. But if you don't save it in a draft or you don't publish it and you move on, it won't have saved any of that information and will have dumped it. We don't want that to happen. So what I do is I just hit save and let it catch up. What is happening is all that information is going out over your Wi-Fi and going to SiteGround or whatever hosting company that you have, GoDaddy, Bluehost, whatever it is. And then it's handing it to the computer and it's saving it in the computer, and then it's coming back over the internet and your Wi-Fi and telling you that it's all been saved. So that's why it takes a little while to do that. I switched to SiteGround hosting because GoDaddy and Bluehost and a lot of the other mediocre sites were very, very slow. And what I would do is I build a website or a blog on my computer, because you can do that, and then there was no time lag, and then just bring the thing over. But now with SiteGround, I don't have to do any of that. You can immediately see that our score is already up to 7 over 100. We want to get close to 100, but I found with blogs, you're lucky to get it in the high 70s or low 80s. With pages, I can actually get it up into like 85 to 91, 92. Never get to 100 though. It's impossible. So now I'm going to go preview. And here it is, the Book of Nature, and it's starting out with Alan's thing. But we still have more stuff to put down in here, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I'm going to close out of here, and I'm going to make a second one right here because I want to save the layout at the bottom. So I'm going to go here, and now see what we got. Okay, come here to this guy. Oh, not there. Okay, come in here. Okay. Now you can see this is where all the original stuff is. But we just want to say from here to here. So I'm going to go back in here and then go, and this is where we cut off the last time, okay? So I'm going to go down to the very bottom right here, right to this point, to here. And then I'm going to take all of this and bring her up to right here. And save that. And then go back into here. And then bring it here. Okay. Now this is the second part. So we want to save from here. And we're going to tell it it's Helvetica. Well, Georgia. Go to Helvetica and go to 16 point. Remember, we want it 16 point. And here it is. Now there's a couple things that are in the blue hyperlink. And we don't want to lose that at the moment. So what we can do is actually make all of this black and come back to this part. So make it black. And now you'll notice that all the hyperlinks will be gone down at the bottom. But we know what they are. Okay? So this is how this is looking now. One of the things that we've got to do is right here, when these are dark letters and they're bold and italicized, we make these an H3 tag. Okay? Here's another one right here. This is an H3 tag. Okay? Other things that we want to do is this is a hyperlink right here. So we're going to want to go in. We want to break that link. And to break it, I just did it right there. And then I want to go copy this. Okay? And then I'm going to copy or highlight Galileo Galilei. And I'm going to go back to the top here. I'm going to hit bold italicize, and underline. Okay, so if I go back and look at that, you can see that's what it did. Now, if I go and I hit the link, and I'm going back down to it, you can see it went blue. Now if I click it like that, I can take that address that was right there and put it in there. And then apply it. Then you go back, and if you wanted to only open in another link, then you click this button here. So it will leave you on the page, plus take you to another page. So I'm going to set update right there. And see, there it is. So now we don't need this address anymore, and I can dump it and bring it up one. I like to make this hyperlink a little bit darker, so I highlight it, and then I go back into the color, and I make it this middle one of the blue right there. And it comes out a little bit darker, so you can see right there what it did. Okay? The next hyperlink is this guy right here. So I'm going to go in, save this guy, and then I'm going to break the link. And then I go, remember what I said? We go in here, highlight this guy, make it a bold, underline, italicize, then to the hyperlink. And now I go back down there, and you can see it went blue. Click it, and then paste the address in there and save it. Go back in here, tell it you want it to open up on a different page, but you can see that it's a lighter blue, and I like it to be the darker blue. That's just me. You don't have to do that either. And it was the middle blue right there. Now we still got one more to do, and dump that, pop up to here. If you click each one of these, you can see where they're headed, what the address is. Okay, we've got one more to do here. Did I spell something wrong here? Yep, it's telling me that, and it's got a pretty good spell check in here too. So Newton needs to have an apostrophe. So I switched that, and I did that. So that's the name of it. So I'm going to go in here, copy this guy. Then I'm going to go here, highlight it, go back up to here, make it bold, italicize, underline, and then hyperlink. And here she is. Click it, paste it in there, save it, go back into the wheel, press for the open in a new tab, hyperlink that, come back to that and change the color, middle blue, right like that, and there it is. It's all done. And this is his address for Amazon, so we want to make sure that is correct too. And I did not have that, so I'm going to hit edit right here. So we can actually go, I'm going to tell it to save it. And it's saved in there on blue, but we're going to want to make this one didn't take it all the way, so I'm going to make on and then God. And then dump these two right here. So that's what it is. Oh, okay, so since he used all capital letters, we're going to probably want to do the same thing. So I'm going to make capital OD, and this is a title, so you highlight or you capitalize everything. Okay, so we want to give a little more room right there, and we want to bring this black to that blue. And I'm going to tell it underline and So now this is what she looks like. And we want to make it that darker blue again. And there she is right there. Okay, so there it is. People can see that. They're all hyperlinked. They're all set. I'm going to take out the parentheses and take this one out too. And there we are. Everything's hyperlinked. Everything is ready to go. So we're going to hit save. And now we're going to hit save draft. And go in and take a look, see what we got. We're going to have to eliminate one of the lines, but we can do that in a second here. Okay, this is getting caught up. Now I can hit preview. And there it is. And so we got this in 3 places, so we need to eliminate 2 of them. So I'm going to close out of here, and I can then go. I'll make sure I go back to this guy. Oh, one's gone. And give me a second here, get caught up. New chapter of the book. And I'm going to go and tell it, I'm just going to make it a -2 so I know what it is on the outside. Okay. And so I'm going to dump that one right there. This one really is the second paragraph. But let's make sure we're getting this right. So we're going to hit save. Let it get caught up. And then we're going to do preview. And giving it a second. Okay. Now I can hit preview. And here we go. We're going to have to take out something because we have another photograph to bring in right here. And we don't need to have what is a book of nature here or this bottom thing here. So what I'm going to do is close out of this guy. Okay. And these are the 2. We're going to need to bring in an image module. So when I want to go and make an image or do a different kind of module, there's all kinds of modules that Divi makes for you. So if I click this insert a module, there are a whole lot of these. I don't want to go into these in detail right at the moment, but they can do a lot of different things. I'm looking for an image module. So that's what I'm taking right here. And it's then uploading an image. I'll go in here. And this was the image that we had planned on using midway through the article. And I'm going to set that as the image. And it's got the image written right there. Okay, now you're going to get a kick out of this. This is actually the second paragraph, okay? So what I'm going to do is go into the second paragraph. We got to change the label on that one. We didn't do it there. Wrong one again. Okay, back to here. Go down here. And we want to make this the second paragraph. So we're going to say second paragraph and take this stuff out of here. Okay. So now it says second paragraph. See that? So we want to get rid of this guy. Also, we want to drag this image right here. Now the image is between these 2 paragraphs. Isn't that cool, the way you can do that or make multiple images? If I wanted to have more than one, I could click that button here and drag the second one down here. I'm going to do that in a second, but I'm going to let this get caught up first. I'm going to save the draft. Let this catch up again. Always, it's going out on the Wi-Fi. Now it's starting to come back. and then it's telling you that it's all been loaded up on SiteGround's computer. Okay, now hit preview, and here we go. You can see it right here. Oh, one thing we got to get rid of is these two guys. We don't need these two guys up here because they're down at the bottom. So that's one thing we got to remember when we go back in here, is get rid of this section. But we also have to make this image in the middle of the blog post. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to actually go back here. I need to go back into this guy, get rid of those two things we saw at the bottom. That was at the bottom of that one thing. And get those out of there, so the whole thing starts to make a lot of sense now. Okay, so we don't need any of this stuff because it's at the bottom of the other thing. So we're eliminating that and bringing it all up to here. The other thing I forgot to do here on this first one right here is make this one a H3 tag. Okay, now one of the things I was telling you earlier, I like to make an end cap. So what I like to do is take the first letter or first two letters, it's up to you, highlight them, and Helvetica is what they call a sans serif. Means a sans means that it's got feet and legs, arms and legs on it. For a serif, sans serif means without. So everything on here is a Helvetica, a sans serif. But what's a good technique for books and things like that is using a serif to make the other thing. So I'm going to go back in here to Helvetica, and I'm going to go down to New Times Roman. It's the only time I do that. And then I hit and you can see that it made that, and then I make it all the way up here to 48. See what it did? And it's got arms and legs on it, but the second one next to it is a lowercase. And then I actually make this red. And that's called an end cap in publishing. And if that tells you this is where the article is actually starting. So that's what I do with that, okay? And I go back down here, and we only have an H3 tag. We don't have an H2 tag in this area. And I'm going to take these stars out of here. And I'm going to tell it to save and exit. Get rid of this one. We're getting close now. Now I'm going to go back and hit save. And we're ahead of the game because we got a lot of the SEO already done. Okay, let this catch up, remember? And when that whited out, it's ready for us to go hit preview. If you hit preview before that thing is whited out, it freezes up your computer. And then you got to hit refresh and then let it go through the whole process again. What happens is you're really confusing the computer what the heck's going on. Okay, so here's the image. I haven't brought it to the middle yet, but it's in the right spot. And then you can see all these hyperlinks now that are all set up. So if I hit that guy, it opened it up in a different one, and it went to that hyperlink. I can use behind the scenes for Newton. And that SEO math is actually keeping track on that. So you can see your S2 tag is right here. And then our inbound link is right here. We had already set up along with the logo, contact me. If I hit this contact me, it'll bring them over to his page where they can send in a contact info. And you all will have that same thing. I'm building the same thing. And these are all his social medias. So if I click one of the social medias here, it goes to his social media. Very cool stuff, you know, very cool stuff. And then down here is I made the contact me, And then this is a footer. I'm thinking this may be a little bit too bright a green. We may darken it up. But we also made it a green up in here on his menu bar. Still got my name on it here. So we're going to go back in and change that. Two places you can change that. You can either change it. Oh, that reminds me, we got to get our excerpts in here. You can either change it right here where it says author, Alan Ty. Then it puts his name on there. And then we need the excerpt. And that's very important. So that follows it everywhere. So the excerpt, remember, it was the last thing that was down here. And you can put, it's up to you. This is almost like advertisement for the blog. What do you want to have down there? So I'm going to put the excerpt right here. And there it is. And there's no limit. You can do it as many as you want, but you've got to do it within reason. So you don't have some blog sections longer than other ones. And all I did it, and then I put his name and everything together. I put article by Alan Ty, physicist and book author. This religious and philosophical concept looks at the nature as a figurative book to be studied for knowledge and understanding and written in the language of mathematics. Okay? So, I didn't put the title of the article in here because when this gets published, it will automatically go on there. So now, we are very close, but we have one more thing that we have to do, and it's something that you do with your tags. Blogs have tags, pages do not. This helps Google help other people find your blog. So you need to have a certain amount of tags. Sometimes you can go back in here and choose from the most used tags, and if you press that, this will be some that were used. If you read this article all the way through, you know Albert Einstein was a part of that. So they just brought up Albert Einstein. Let me see. Isaac Newton is in here. So I'm going to put that in here. This is from past blogs. I'm going to want to go back in here because I don't think Galileo. So what I do is I look for some of the other words that were in here. What was his? Galileo. So I'm going to take this whole name right here and highlight it, and I'm going to put it in the tag right here. See? So now we've got three tags. I try to get anywhere between 5 to 10. There's no limit, but the more you got in here. And then go through some of the other stuff that might have been written in here. Modern physics. Okay. That's a word I'd like to have in there that people might be searching for. And then put it in the tag right there. So now we've got 4. And I always like to go back and the name of the book, Book of Nature. I'm just going to put Book of Nature, not the whole thing. That could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but in this case, we're going to hit right there. Now we've got another one. And let's get one more in here. We put Albert Einstein in here, we put Newton, and we put Galileo. Let's put Industrial Revolution. And we don't want the quotation marks on there. So we're going to put that one here. Industrial Revolution, hit add. It's adding these different tags. Universal gravitation. They figured that out for gravity and what it can do. And that might be our last one. And you can always come back and change different things in the blog. and add more tags. You can go back and change a lot of different things. Those are questions for another video though. And now I'm going to show you, we got pretty much, I see one more here, believe in God, and I'm going to add that one there too because I think that kind of went with it. As you do more blogs, you're going to have more and more start to show up from most used tags. And that will go on. And I think also physics was another big one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got 9, so that's cool. Now, we don't have to stay here. Also, another thing that's very interesting, there are 12 revisions in here. Every time I hit save, draft, or publish, it's saving some of these older revisions so you can go back a couple. But what you don't want to do is save more than 3 when you're all done building your blog or page, okay? And I'm going to show you how to get rid of those in a second. So now, I'm going to hit publish. Ta-da! We're publishing it. Now it's publishing and it's going live on the website itself. No one else is going to be able to see this thing because we haven't published it out on the internet. And what I'm going to be setting up, and we don't have set up right now on this one, is every time we hit publish, it's going to send out an email to people that we've collected emails from. So over a period of time in the future, you're going to want to be saving that. So I'm going to go back here to, I just clicked it too soon. Okay, so I'm actually going to come back out of that, and I'm going to go hit refresh. It saved it. It did everything it had to, but I clicked it too soon. So I'm glad I'm making mistakes so you can see. And now I'm just refreshing the page and letting it get caught up and come back. And then we can take a look at the page and then take a look and see what it looks like out on the website itself. Okay, so I'm going to take preview, changes. Here we go. Now you can see Alan's name is in here, and it's got the 3 different categories that we had. If you go down here, what is the book of nature? Oh, it's a good thing I came back in here because I can see that I didn't fix the picture. Okay, so I'm going to click out of this. Sometimes there's just stuff that you got to go back and look at. So I actually go back into the image module. Sometimes you can label that, and I'm going to label it also. And this is where it's at to label it. And I'm going to put a hyphen right there, and I'm going to put Saturn. And then, now, to center it, you go into the design part. This is also the place where you can make the picture smaller or bigger. Image alignment, obviously we want it to the center. If I wanted to make this image smaller, I would take the maximum width, and this is another video I'm going to do later. I also do a module lineup right there. But I do the maximum, but I want it 100%. I want it as big as it can be into the center of that. Now I'm going to hit save, exit, and go back here, hit update, and let it get caught up, or it'll freeze up on me again. This little guy right here. And it went white out. Now I can go visit and preview. Here it is. And there's the image. See, it's right dead center. You can see where your H3 tags are at, your H1 tag or your title. The end cap, telling people this is where it's starting. If you look over here on recent posts, it's showing up now that it was published. It won't show up if it was just saved. It's got to be actually published. And it's got different categories here, but not all the categories that we're doing. So now what we want to do is go back in here and go back into the blog and check this out. Look at it. It's right here. What is the Book of Nature? Right there. So to change that with new categories, and this is kind of important too, because if you don't have it, if you were picking out more than one category, it will then show up here. But if you picked a category that wasn't in here, then it's not going to show up. So we're in the blog page, and I'm going to tell it to edit the page. And you do that by going up here. But before I do that, remember what I told you about dumping 12 or 13 copies? All you got to do is hit Optimize Database right here. Okay? And that will dump all but 3 copies. If you scroll down here, it's telling me the total number of revisions deleted was 14. And I wouldn't get all blown out by it if you went and made a couple blogs before you hit that. As long as you hit Optimize Database, probably once a month at least, maybe every 2 weeks, to clear out all that other stuff because it can really bloat out your website. And then I purge the cache system in SiteGround. I do that at the same time. And now that's all been purged, and she will get up and running a lot faster. Now I'm going to go back to the home page right here. And the home page is where some people call it the landing page, but it's not really that. A landing page is something altogether different. This is a place that they land for the first time, and it doesn't have a slug to it. And I'll show you what that means here in a second, but we're going to go into the home page, and we're going to go, let it open up here, let it catch up, and then you've got to go in and add down at the bottom here. This says recent blogs, and the reason why it's green is why it's called a global item. If it's in this area and it's this light green, means that anything you change in this section right here, it will change all across all of them that have this section. So we put recent blogs on almost all the pages. So what I can do then, to make sure that they all catch up everywhere, is go in here to blog, and it will open up here for me. And it's showing the post count of 3. It's going to show 3, but you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 are not being, categories are not being shown up, because they were made after this page was made. So we can go in here, click that one, click that one, click that one, and then hit save and exit. And then hit publish. Now all of those that had that thing are all updated. I didn't have to go back into the library to change it. I didn't have to do anything. It's all done, all across everywhere. So let's go in, let catch up, and then go back in here to preview changes. And this is Alan's front cover, and his check out our website, and then you can click about his author and change all of that. And then his recent blogs. I don't have to do anything here because this is all set up automatically. Once I publish a new blog post, the other one that was on the right hand side disappears, and they all move over one, and the new one goes right here. And then remember your excerpt? Here's your excerpt right here. And then the title, it was by Alan Ty, and then the 3 different categories that we had given it that we wanted. If you look here, I'm saving inbound link, and then the other stuff that's saved on here. If I go back here to the actual blog itself, because we're putting this on only 3 for recent blog posts on every site, so people can find it. But if I go back to the blog page itself, it's showing more than 3. it's showing, right now there's 5 in here, so it's showing up 5. So I think that's it. I can't think of anything else. You'll be able to repeat and replay this. This is I use a learning thing like lynda.com, but it's a thing where it teaches you how to do a lot of different things. I will be posting this up onto YouTube and have the right correct information on here. But stay tuned and look for other stuff. I'm starting a new website design business where I'm designing and hosting and making logos for people. And it's called uh, Web Design and Hosting Guru. And that's the name of it. So anyways, I hope this helps you. If not, send me some information. And happy blogging, okay? I got to figure out how to shut this off now. Okay, and quit. Okay.